Hi, I'm Malin, your mystical science nerd, exploring life freely and figuring it out as I go.
And I'm Jordan, your storyteller trying to make a difference, find myself in motherhood, and raise two fiery daughters.
Together, we are two Leo moons, proof that there is no one way to be a powerful woman.
Because women contain multitudes, and we're here for all of it.
Yay, welcome to episode 3.
I can't really believe that we're here already, but yeah, episode 3.
Here we are, and it's a big one. We're super excited. Today is our first episode where we are interviewing a powerful woman, and she is the perfect first guest because to me, she is the quintessential empowered woman who empowers other women.
I love it. I'm so excited to meet her. I know y'all are going to be carrying the conversation, but I think between the two of us, we just have so many questions for what it looks like to do what she does. And can you remind us what it is?
Yeah, so how I met her was actually through a dance community that she brought together, and it was one of the most life-changing communities that I had been a part of. So to me, it's like what is she is beyond her job title, and she has multiple jobs. But it is like the core person of who she is, and she is all about empowering women. So she became a women's empowerment life coach. So I'm very excited to dig into what does that mean? What does that look like? How do you do it? How can I work with you?
Yeah.
And also just the wealth of knowledge and grounding that she provides to other women to be their best versions of themselves,
Yeah.
which I think we're trying to do in a different way. And so she's just such an incredible resource and inspiration. And yeah, I can't wait to share her with you and to share her with our audience. And I'm just so pumped.
Yeah, I think it's a really incredible example of like the communities that we have and the community that we're trying to build, where each woman brings something distinct and unique and incredible to the table, to the conversation. And I just feel really lucky right now to get to have those talks with you, bring in other people, and I just want to keep doing that.
Yes, I think that how I feel is I know so many incredible women, and I'm like, I want to like drag them and be like, everyone, you're welcome. Like, you're welcome, get to know her, learn from her. And I hope that that's true in a lot of places. I hope that most women have other women in their lives like that. But I'm truly honored to have been connected to so many of them and really excited to start creating a platform to kind of have their voice heard in another place. So
Absolutely. And we'll make sure for all of the guests that we have on the show that everybody knows how to contact them to be a part of whatever incredible thing they're doing. And yeah, so just make sure you look for that information.
But because we have a guest, should we dive into some vibe checks?
Let's do it. Let's check that vibe.
All right, let's see. Cosmic vibe check. There's still a lot going on. A lot of times in the universe, like one thing is happening at a time, but the theme for the last couple of months and continuing into February is that the planets are kind of moving together. I think it's Mercury. Yeah, Mercury moves into Pisces tomorrow. And then a couple days later, I think on the 10th, Venus then also moves into Pisces. So again, you have these two planets just a couple days apart moving into a new sign. Mercury is the planet of the mind, thinking, communication, ideas. Venus is love, beauty, like heart, But then Pisces energy is transcendent. It's kind of like everywhere all at once, maybe a little escapist or like daydreamy, maybe a little unrealistic. I would say Pisces is like the queen of Delulu. But it can be in the best way, right? Yeah. But that's kind of that like pendulum of like it can go too far. But that happy place is this person who kind of like not person, but the energy of like it transcends all. It's not just in the body; it's in the spirit and above and connection. So for Mercury, so to be thinking in this kind of Delulu way, maybe be mindful of that. But also maybe lean into some like daydream energy. Like that's an important part of our lives too, is like what is you know how like some people are really pro Delulu because that's how you're gonna, if you see it, you can like achieve it, right? But you got to see it first.
I feel like there has to be a level of delusion in order to like successfully manifest and like create something for yourself. Because first it starts with that feeling of like, this is crazy. Our podcast, for example, you have to be delusional in order to be ambitious, I think.
Yes.
And so I think that's
dream,
right.
dare to dream,
Yeah.
dare to dream. When Mercury moves into Pisces, and then a few days later, Venus will move into that same energy, and again, that's kind of love, beauty, heart. To me, it's I'm led by Venus as a Libra rising, so it's like my whole being leans into this like love and beauty and harmony, and everything is wonderful. So I think it's going to be, now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, oh, it could be a really beautiful vibe.
Yeah.
However, a couple days before, so I think on February 3rd, Uranus stations direct, which means it's been in retrograde, and it stations direct in Taurus. So when a planet is retrograde, I think of it, or it's been kind of like taught that that's, okay, imagine something is moving forward and then it's like, hold on, and it starts moving backward. And if you think about the zodiac as like us like learning life lessons, then this planet is like, wait a minute, we need to go back and retry. And Uranus is also the planet of disruption and awakenings. So it doing anything is usually kind of like, hold on to your butts, you know? So, and then Taurus, so it's stationing direct in Taurus, and Taurus is earthy, but it's earthy and grounded, but it is also like about comfort, kind of being too stubborn to move, and about material values. And that could be material values like a Taurus loves their expensive sheets, but it could also be being a little bit like the need for material comfort, which again, right, there's that, when is it healthy, when is it not?
Yeah.
So maybe a little reflection on having an awakening about where in your life you have maybe misplaced your values.
Ooh.
Or where are you staying because you are staying somewhere comfortable rather than allowing yourself to grow.
Thanks for the vibe check.
Yeah.
Whew. It always makes me feel, what word do I want to use? I get a certain sense of anticipation when I hear about what's going on in the universe, and maybe I set unrealistic expectations that it's going to feel a certain way or impact me in a certain way. So I always appreciate the way you come back to reflect on it. Use it as a tool to guide the way that you're feeling and thinking or processing your feelings. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not waiting. I'm not actually waiting for Uranus to come and earthquake my life.
Yeah.
It's something that it's so beyond our like physical experience that, you know, a disruption might not necessarily be an earthquake, you know?
Yeah. You know, I do want to say, I am actually not really into predictive astrology because it sets expectations.
Yeah.
And that's been kind of hard, like creating a podcast, because we are recording this before this is happening. But the way that I hope, you know, it'll be coming out when this energy is out there, and the way that I like to use it, and I have to remind myself of, is I am right now trying to pay attention to what's happening and be like, I don't know how it's going to manifest. But I always think it's easier in the moment to, like, when you're reflecting on your life, to be like, oh, I see how this ties to this. And I'm hoping that through our Patreon and through the community that we build, that we can start to explore that part of it. To me, it's so much, it's not about, I can tell you everything in your life that's going to happen and everything's written in the stars and there's no free will. It's, again, it's just a tool. And so I don't think you should say, well, Uranus is going direct and that means something terrible and upsetting is going to happen, because then you are manifesting. But what should happen is if something has come into your life and you're like, I'm going through this thing and it's so crazy and I don't know what to do. And then I say, well, Uranus just stationed direct and that comes with this feeling. Then there's this like sense of, okay, like it didn't predict the thing that happened, but it gives you a different perspective to self-analyze your feelings about it.
Yeah, a context.
Yeah.
And a comforting sense of there are always bigger powers at play. It's not just, it's so easy to be egocentric as a little human operating in a massive universe.
Yes.
And personally, I've come to a point in my life where I love being less than an ant in the grand scheme of things. I think it's kind of a cool time to call out to our listeners too, like, we are building something here and we want to build with you. So if there's stuff that you're interested in learning through astrology, if there's content that you would like to see us produce, it's not a guarantee, but I think we'd love to hear from you about the kinds of things that could go on our Patreon or our eventual website that you'd be interested in interacting with.
A deep dive episode. And I was going to say, if you're feeling this energy or something standing out to you, comment below. Like, it feels good to be like, we've done it. We've been like, I am having a major life breakthrough, and you've been like, me too.
And we're like, what's happening to Jupiter? I think to kind of turn the conversation on its head a little bit, my political vibe check this week focuses on us not being small and focuses on ways that we can reclaim our power in very tangible actions. So I don't know about everyone else, but I'm going to face the camera because this is serious. For me, already in 2026, it's felt like a disappointing continuation of 2025. There have been things that have happened that rocked me to my core in ways that I thought I had already been rocked, and not in the fun way. I've been left feeling somewhat helpless. And I say somewhat because I think I'm fortunate to have pathways and connections and colleagues where I can ground and have conversations that help me feel a little bit more
connected.
Yes. Yeah. A little bit more connected. Exactly. So I want to provide hopefully the same kind of connection to our community so that if you're feeling this way, you have a place to put your anger, your grief, your sadness, your fear, and turn that into something that makes a difference and genuinely makes a difference. And it's going to sound silly, but we're going to talk about contacting your senators and your representatives.
I don't think it's scary to me. I am not like, I'm a person who wants to be more involved, and I am like, I don't know how to do it. And then you get overwhelmed.
I think that it's intentional, and it's been like we have this
It's
way of
gatekeeping
it's gatekeeping, and we have this way of idolizing and putting up on a pedestal our politicians. We do it with celebrities, all of that. But like, especially for elected officials, they are doing a job, and their job is to hear your concerns and to represent the best interest of the people that they were voted to represent. And so I want to change our collective mindset back to these people work for us. Whether you voted for them or not, they work for you. And that's the whole idea behind this system, is that these folks go to Washington and say, for my constituents, this is what will be best. That concept is pretty lost. There are too many special interests and big donors, and all of the corruption is very, very real. But I think that if we get back to making our voices heard, and if we become louder than the money, than the corporate influence, they will have no choice but to listen to us, or else they know we will kick them out next election cycle. We have term limits, and they're called elections, but we need to be involved outside of those elections too, in order to get the things done that we want to see done. I think that the first time that you call your rep or your senator is always going to be the hardest. And I think it's going to be a little awkward. I also know that once you do it, you're not going to be able to stop doing it, because it is a phone call that makes you feel as though for once someone is listening to your concerns. You're not going to talk to your rep or your senator. They're not in the office.
Oh man.
They're not. You can schedule meetings and we'll get to that, but I want you to start with the phone call. First, you find out who represents you. You can go to literally who represents me Google it, and it'll take you to the website where you put in your address.
Okay.
Their names come up, their phone numbers come up. Click on it or write it down and save it for later. Write it down and save it for a moment when you're really feeling like you need to talk to somebody about what's going on. And when you're ready, call the number, and you'll need a couple pieces of information. First is your name. Just be able to identify yourself. It can just be your first name, your address. They're not going to save it. They're not going to share it anywhere. It's just to confirm that you are actually their constituent. If you're not actually their constituent, they don't really care that much. They want to hear from the people in their districts because you are the one that's going to vote for them again in the next election cycle. Then you're going to talk about the issue that you called about. I recommend that you talk about one issue per call because the way that they log these conversations is issue specific. So if you want to talk about ICE, tell them that you want to talk about ICE. You do not have to reference a specific bill. You do not have to reference a specific situation. You can say, as a constituent, I am against the presence of ICE in my community. And they will log that, and they will keep that record. And the more people do that, literally numerically, the less they can ignore the number of constituents that have called with the same concern. If you're calling about legislation, like for example, in January, the House of Representatives passed a bipartisan extension of the Affordable Care Act, you can call and say to your senator, I would like to see the Senate pass a similar extension. When there's a Senate bill, you can give the number, but again, you don't need it because what they're going to see is a log that a constituent or multiple constituents called and said, I care about topic Affordable Care Act and that you are in favor of extensions. I think if we break down what it actually looks like to make these phone calls and what the actual product of these phone calls is, it helps us to let go of the idea that we have to know everything about what we're calling about.
That is a fear of mine. I feel like I have feelings and opinions and I'm informed on what's going on. I am not a poli-sci major. I don't know all the language. I have to look a lot of things up, and it's scary to look and sound like a person who doesn't know what you're talking about when you are talking to someone who, even if you are their boss, feels intimidating.
Yeah. You're going to talk to a staffer, and most likely that staffer is an intern. And to me, that helps me be like, okay, I'm not talking to Congressman Castro, who I love. I'm talking to somebody that works for them, that's a human being, that might be in grad school. And that is a lot easier than a representative. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. And just knowing that there's somebody else out there doing the thing that they don't want to do too is so helpful. So I will body double with anyone that wants to call their representative. Like seriously, if you need we should totally do it. We should do like a live stream.
Yes.
It's happening.
Comment below if you want to join our...
Stay tuned for the really cool name that we're going to come up with.
Yes.
All right. That concludes my vibe check for today.
It's a good one.
The vibes are powerful.
Yes.
So hold on to that.
Ooh. Okay, it's time to get into the scoop.
Scoop. There it is. Scoop.
I love it. I am loving it. I'm loving it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Okay, single scoop. I'm going to brag a little bit. I know this is coming out in February. We're filming this in January. It is hermit season. I get to do what I want when I want outside of work culture. But I'm leaning into like, I have read 3 books in the last week. I have binge watched multiple shows. I finished at least, well, I mean, you know, I finished Stranger Things, but Pluribus, Heated Rivalry, more on that later. I've watched old movies that, I mean, I'm like on lists, like just looking for, I have just dove into, media, books, stories. And I just sit by myself. I listen to my stories. I do my Sudoku.
So that's magical.
And I'm like, oh, I love this. It's the best part of winter. As I come home, get into my cozy clothes, and then take me away.
That's amazing.
That's what I've been up to.
What's been your favorite let's say show or movie that you've watched in the last couple weeks.
I guess Heated Rivalry.
Yeah. There was a right answer.
We'll get there. I think we got more to say on that in a
For
little
sure.
bit here.
Yeah. So putting a pin in
Yeah.
Heated Rivalry. My scoop this week is that I've been really trying to move my body intentionally more. And I'm sure we'll do a whole episode on like the psychology of exercise and
Someday,
being
yeah.
a-
Let me write it
Let me just
down.
take some notes here. But for me, I want to shout out the YMCA. What an incredible institution that's been around for so long. The child care that they provide has like made it possible for me to go like work out somewhere with people. And so I love that. And I've really been into home workout videos by this person called Grow with Joe on YouTube. She's a little Jesus-y for my taste, and her workouts are so much fun. They're so quick, they're dancey, they're to music, and her whole brand is around like something is better than nothing. And hearing somebody like own that it is really difficult to find time to exercise as a parent, and then actually make exercise videos that are fun and short enough that I can do them every day. I would love nothing more than for this community to also be a group of people who are empowered to find the kinds of movement that bring them joy. Because I think we should all celebrate our meat suits.
Our meat suits. Yeah.
Take care of our meat suits.
I know. They've been carrying us through this whole experience.
Poor meat suit. I'm not always nice to her.
Sometimes when I think about it that way, I'm like, good job.
Yeah.
Good job. I'll try better to take care of you.
Yeah. Like a Tamagotchi.
You know what time it is. It's time for our daily dose.
Of healthy masculinity. I
guess I realized it's not daily though.
That's unfortunate. I think everyone should get a daily dose of the masculinity that we're going to talk about.
Every day, look for some healthy masculinity and remind yourself.
There you go.
That's healthy masculinity. And every other week, we'll be here to reflect on what we've been reflecting on. And I have been reflecting.
Yeah.
So let's take it back.
I've reflected multiple times.
Today's healthy dose of... well, I can't even. Our dose of healthy masculinity is every single man involved in making, watching, and talking about Heated Rivalry. All of them. This phenomenon is so uplifting to me. It is what putting this out into our world has done to us collectively. And it feels so good to see people respond positively to something, and with love and heart and humanity. That is the part that I am like, the straight men out there watching this show, the straight men out there on podcasts watching it together. Like, I've seen athletes comment on it, crying, and it's so hot. It's so hot. And that is healthy masculinity, to not identify as I'm the same as them and I can see them as a human. I'm not gay, but I believe in love. I'm rooting for people to love. I'm rooting for it to work out for them. That is the part that I am swept away. I am swept away, and it makes me so happy and grateful, and I don't want to cry because it does mean that much to me. But I really do think that seeing stories like this and seeing the humanity of all of us, regardless of how you identify in any capacity, is I adore it. And then on that end too, how nice is it that these stories are being represented? Because while it's wonderful to have people who don't identify, people who do identify, who have never seen their story told or never seen it told with a happy ending, like, they get to be represented. And that's the, queer culture. It's also, I see a lot of people relating to being, I did not know this word, but Wasian. Am I allowed to even say that? That Shane is white and Asian. And that's an entire community of people that I've seen who are like, hey, and like, that's representation. And I just love it.
It feels like we're experiencing contemporary art in real time. And I think art is something that has always transcended identity and brought us to our core of human, like, of being a human. And I'm grateful to get to experience this with people. And I'm grateful for social media that has allowed for these conversations and for the growth of this franchise into a phenomenon.
Yes.
And it's going to carry on. So the impact of this is going to carry so much further than the virality of it.
And then, and then you get into the deep dive of the actors and how their lives have turned around, and they're so genuine and happy. And there's so much heart behind this phenomenon. There's humanity and heart, and I have chills. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to every person who made it, who participated, who made it happen. And thank you to everyone who has continued the conversation, because I probably would not have watched it if I hadn't heard so much about it.
Yeah. Thank you for telling me to watch it.
I was like, girl, get on this
Called
now.
me. I was like, I guess I'm watching this tonight. I watched the whole thing in one night.
Yeah.
One night.
I would have, except it wasn't all out yet.
Yeah. I think I'm lucky that I got to sit there for 6 hours and just like, and now I'm listening to the audiobooks and I want this to be my whole world.
I love
for
it.
however long I can.
It's something positive and that is connecting people, and it's nice to be a part of that. So,
Thank you, Canada.
yeah, great job to everyone involved.
All right. I think that's it for our part of episode 3. And I'm just can't wait to hear your conversation with our guest. I think it's going to be really insightful.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So everyone, can't wait to introduce you to my friend Andrea. Welcome to Two Leo Moons. I am so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here.
You are our perfect first guest. Like, I knew that the energy of feeling uplifted by other women was possible because it's how I feel around my friends. But you were like just the perfect embodiment of it for more than just friends. Like, every person who comes across you, I feel like that is the energy that you give. You, in my eyes, lead with like so much love and so much heart, and that is like what we want this to be about. And so thank you for being here. Are we gonna start with the
I'm
tears?
already like starting. Welling up. Like, I did my makeup so nice. I don't want to tear up. But that means so much to me just off the bat. So thank you. I'm honored to be here as your first guest. But just the way that you described me is truly just the way I want to live my life. And I believe that being our true authentic self, which we'll get more into, is truly just why we're here.
Yes.
You only get one life, and it's but a brief moment. And so the fact that you describe me that way makes me so happy, because you try to be your best, but you don't know how others perceive you, right? And
It's scary.
Yeah, and when people
It's
confirm that in you, it just really, like, it's confirmation that you're doing what you're meant to do.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you.
What I do want to focus on is that you have taken this incredible gift of yours and you have built a career around it. So you are a women's empowerment life coach.
Yes.
Yes.
So I describe myself as a women's empowerment and life design coach.
Oh, what does
Yeah.
tell me more about
Yeah. So women's empowerment is pretty self-explanatory, all about women and empowering them into living their best, authentic, and full life. Life design is a little bit different. So life design, the best way to describe it is we are all born into certain families and certain trajectories of life. And a lot of people think that, well, this is just the card I was dealt, which a lot of time, yes, is true. But I also believe that we have the power to change our lives. And so by that, you can design your life. Just like you design a home, or you design, your clothing or your furniture or whatever, you have the ability and the power to change your life to look like what you want it to be. Now, it doesn't come without work and a plan, and that's where I come in.
How did you get here?
First, I was born.
Yeah, let's start at the very beginning.
So I was born into two individuals that were married who separated before my birth. My mom remarried when I was 2 years old, and that's who I consider my father, my dad. He raised me, so I have 5 half siblings. Being born into that, I didn't really come to know that until I was about 9 years old. And so right off the bat, that creates kind of a little bit of difficulty in your life, right? So just it's different. So kind of had tests and trials. From a young age, I was always an encourager. I just saw the best in people. I really wanted to help people, and it wasn't just what I did, it's who I was. And so as I got older, I was like, I really feel called to this. What does that look like? What does that even mean? So I got involved in different women's groups, church groups, just anything centered around women's empowerment and helping women and encouraging them. And then as I got older and I went to college, I learned about life coaching. And so that's where I felt like this is really, I think, something that I want to explore, which is a little bit different than like counseling, but it's kind of along the same lines. And I really enjoy all that psychology and all that stuff. I think going through teenage years and just the trials and the hardships of life kind of affirmed what I learned and how I could help others overcome that. So that's kind of the cross bridge of how I ended up of where I am.
So you've always been an encourager. You've always seen the best in people.
Yeah.
But where and why did it really start to
Like
focus
particularly on women?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I come from a really strong line of strong women. Yes. Yes, my mama, my grandma, we got stories for days. Mm-hmm. They're all so strong and within their own right. So it was modeled for me, strong women. But I'm also from a Hispanic culture where women, old school mentality, kind of serve their husbands. And for some reason, I was not totally all about that. I love my husband. I'm happy to serve him, but we live equally. So he'll serve me on occasion. Like we serve each other and we respect each other. So for me, it was not a life of being subservient. And I really just saw things around me where I thought, that's not how I think I want to be, and that's not what I believe for women. So then I really had a choice to speak up. I think the first strong urge to do that was after I came out of an abusive relationship. I was engaged to an abusive alcoholic for 5 years, and it didn't start that way, but it ended that way. Sure. And by the end of that, I was just so broken, and I thought once I escaped that, kind of like a light bulb went on, and it was like, you didn't go through this for no reason. And so I used that because I thought, I am going to be the person to help those other people. I'm going to be the person that I needed that wasn't there for me. So it started with small acts. Like if I saw someone crying in a bathroom, I'd be like, are you okay? Do you need some help? Just that small act can really make a difference to somebody. It can even change a life. It can save somebody. We don't know what people are going through. Maybe they were at the movie theater and saw a really sad movie, but maybe it's somebody that needs to escape abuse or trafficking. You don't know. So it's really, really important. And so that kind of pull started calling me and pulling me towards that. And then I thought, I need to also share my story because there are others out there that may be afraid to take that step. And so I guess the lessons that I learned and the experience that I had, I wanted to share with others so they didn't go through the same things I went through, so they didn't repeat the patterns that I repeated. A lot of people grow up in dysfunctional families and they don't even know that it's dysfunction until somebody says, hey, girl, you deserve more than that.
Yeah.
And so that is the voice that I feel I needed to be in this world.
That's amazing. That takes incredible power and awareness and vulnerability and bravery to take something. You see it on the internet sometimes, or even in therapy, they'll talk about like your greatest pain and your greatest growth is sometimes what is leading you to your greatest power. And I sometimes resent that a little bit because there has been a lot of pain in my life. And it's like, I don't want that to identify me. I don't want that to be what I am. But then your ability to see how it can be powerful is really encouraging and uplifting. And it's a good reminder to myself even to like, it's okay to lean into that, like you're leaning into your own journey and connecting to the community and to other people and recognizing like I didn't go through that for nothing. And so that's amazing. And thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
That's really incredible.
absolutely. We all go through pain, and yes, there is time to mourn that. There is time to get the help that we need. But I think there comes a point in our life where we need to say, that's not going to identify me anymore. That's not going to be the person I want to be. I am choosing something different. And so you can take your power back. And so I just see myself as kind of a catalyst or a diving board to say, let's just jump in. Let's do it. Like, it's going to be hard work. But if you are determined to do it, you can change your life, and you don't have to be that old version of yourself anymore.
Do you know what your moon sign is?
Oh, I have no idea. Actually, you're the one, like, I've always heard about like astrology and stuff like that, but I've never really looked into it.
Okay.
So when you started talking about water signs and moon signs, I'm like, ooh, I want to know more. What am I? Tell
I do
me,
need
please.
to give you a whole reading.
Yes.
And this is why we're
Okay.
asking this. Like, Jordan and I we're different sun signs, and we're actually like, we just vibe. But we're both Leo moons. And that is the part where we like see ourselves in each other. And
Okay.
it's curious to me because I've heard your sun sign is like, it is who you are, it is your core, it is your identity. Your moon sign is kind of how you're experiencing yourself and this life, and it is your internal emotional world. So I always love to ask people this, because a lot of people who say they don't believe in astrology at all and they never look into it, they don't even know other signs exist, but there's more. And
Right.
some people relate more to their moon sign than they do their sun sign. You are a Sagittarius moon.
Okay. Tell
First
me
of all,
more.
I love a Sagittarius. I love Sagittarius energy. It is also a fire sign. But that's why I got excited, is because first, I think it's hot. Two, it's fiery. Fire signs are passionate. They're heated. They're intense. You are a very intense woman, which I already knew.
I always thought that was just like my Latina blood.
And your Sagittarius moon, for
Nice.
sure. Like, there is a fire that burns within you and
Yes.
in your emotional world. Sagittarius is kind of known as like the philosopher. Like, they're big picture thinking, they're adventurous, they're willing to take risks. Like, they want to learn. Like, learning and is really important to them. So
I really hope that my husband is watching this right now, because he could understand me so much more.
yeah, and you could, yes. And doesn't it feel good to be like, oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Like I said, confirmation's amazing, because it's like you feel all those things, but then when somebody says, oh yeah, that's you, then you're just like, I knew it.
Yes.
I knew it.
Sagittarius can also they're known for being really blunt. And like,
That is true.
yeah, there you go.
Especially in my text messages. I'm just short. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not mad.
We're
I promise.
doing this to be convenient.
Yes,
Let's get it
it's
done.
like I'm usually, multitasking. So it's like, yes, and back to work.
I love it. Okay, but now I want to know, with that, something I feel about being a woman that is like a constant battle is we are in a world where we are told to like be logical, be rational. And I do think women are logical and rational, but I think women are also more in touch with the emotional side. And so when it comes to life decisions, the way you lead, how you live, do you feel like you live more from the head or the heart?
I want to think that I lead with my brains,
Me too.
right? But I know that I am more heart. I think I'm getting better. So it's a trait that you kind of have to hone with practice at separating my feelings from fact, because I can get in my feelings, and I do tend to get my feelings hurt. I just care. I care with all my heart. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I am who I appear to be. And so sometimes you do find yourself in situations where you do get hurt. And I tend to lead that with my heart, everything I do with my heart. And so that's always kind of hard, because our hearts get broken, one way or another. That's just the world we live in. But I'm learning it's okay to have the feeling, accept it, go through it, and then let's revisit. I'm not sad. I'm not as angry anymore. Let's go back and separate the fact from the feeling. That way we can make a better decision moving forward, rather than just reacting. And I think also, so there's our feelings, but then there's also our intuition.
Yes.
Which
Okay.
are two different things.
Yeah.
So
And sometimes I kind of think of them as one because I feel very in touch with both. But yeah, I'd love to hear like more of
yeah,
what you think
I
about
definitely
this.
think that they work together, but just as the brain and the heart are two separate things, right? Emotionally speaking and just biology.
Yeah.
But the same for our heart and our feelings and our intuition, what we often call our gut, right? So let's take, for example, a decision that you want to make that, God, you just really want to do it. And I would love to do this. And like, I would love to move out of the country. My sister travels abroad. She's lived abroad for, 5 years now. And I'm like, oh, I want that life so bad. I want to go live near the beach and just, new scenery. But my gut knows, girl, you're not there yet. Like, you
Yeah.
still have kids to finish raising. You still got things you want to do. I would love to go and buy a convertible. I just really would. Like, I don't know, let's just pretend we're having a midlife crisis, right? Hot red, little convertible. But my intuition says we're not there yet. Like, we need to get XYZ finances in order before we do that, right? So I do think that the mind, the heart, and your intuition all play a part and they work as a team. And I think when those come into alignment is when you have that sense of peace. And for me, when I have the peace about it, I know I made the right choice, even if it's a hard choice. Like,
Yeah.
it breaks my heart or mentally exhausts me or drives me crazy. But in your gut, it's still the right thing to do.
Yeah. Okay. You talked about somebody who really has the desire to change their life. Do they have to know what it is that they want to change to come see you? And what does it actually look like once they decide to come see you?
That is an excellent question. And the answer is no.
Okay.
So I think just the desire to change. Something in my life is not lining up with who I believe I am. I don't believe this is the right path for me. I've dealt with clients who are going through divorces. Some didn't even know if they wanted the divorce. It was the other partner who said they wanted the divorce. They didn't want the divorce. So it's like, I don't even know what I want to do. I just know I'm not happy. I need help making that decision. Somebody might know I'm not in the right field of work, but I really don't even know what I'm good at or what I want to do. So no, you don't have to have all the answers. This is where we sit down, just like we're sitting now. We have a one-on-one session. You kind of brain dump everything that you're feeling, that you're walking through right now. Any ideas of what you might want in the future? Maybe somebody does know where they want to go. They just don't know how to get there.
Yeah, the steps.
Yeah, the steps. And so I will take all that. I will develop an individualized plan for you. We will set goals together and a timeline together. Sometimes it's really small things that can be achieved within a matter of weeks to months. Sometimes it's like, that's great, but it's going to take us a lot longer to get there. And then throughout that time, I serve as your biggest cheerleader. I always say, I can give you the roadmap, but the work is not mine to do.
Yeah.
My job.
You're not driving.
I'm not driving the bus. I'm just along for the ride, and I'm your best friend, and I will be there. Sometimes we just need a hand to hold, and I can be that person to hold your hand. We will do check-ins. We will do follow-up sessions until we achieve those goals. Sometimes we might need to change it a little bit. So maybe we get to a goal, and then the next step we thought we'd get to, maybe we say, you know what? Let's break that out into a smaller piece. We're having a hard time getting that big goal. Let's take it a little bit smaller. Or maybe we decide we need to take a little bit of a detour or a different route. So it's very individualized. You don't have to have it all figured out. That is my job, to help you to get there.
How do you help women reconnect with their inner power when they feel really disconnected?
Oh, that's really, really good. So like I said before, number one, feel the feelings. It's really important that we feel them, because when we stuff our emotions down, it just comes back and erupts bigger. So we need to feel the feelings. Then let's understand why we're feeling that way. A lot of the time we are reacting or triggered by past experiences, past pain, past trauma. Now, I am not a therapist or a counselor, so we don't do the deep work going back. I do encourage therapy. It's very helpful for people to understand that. You may not even understand the underlying issues, right? And so it's really important to do that. And then we put a plan into motion as to how do we overcome those triggers so that they don't cripple us?
Okay.
They don't keep us from living our best life. So grounding ourselves in truth, that can be spiritual. Some people are spiritual, so anything that gives you truth. Friends are a great source of truth. When you sit and speak to each other and say, Maylin, I know this is how you see yourself right now, but a lot of the times our mirrors are distorted and we see it blurry, right? We can't see it clear. And we need a friend to come in and be that mirror and say, that's not who you are. You are a powerful, strong, independent woman. You are not a failure. You just had a bad day. You were with the wrong person. You know, it's just a situation. We will move forward and past this. So having compassion, understanding, and then speaking truth is how I help women ground themselves in their empowerment and power.
Yeah, I love that. Connection again,
Yes,
right?
connection.
I think part of being a woman too, again, that we're kind of taught is like not a great thing is you're talking a lot about emotions, and that comes with a lot of vulnerability. Can you tell me what you think about how power can coexist with that vulnerability and what that means for a woman to like really embody that? Like, how do we have this balance of like, I am a sensitive person and I think I'm going through a place in my life where I have had a lot of strength in the action and the plan and the get it done. And I am learning to take off that armor and find power in my softness. And so I'm curious, like, how you would like see that balance in women and kind of like how that is powerful.
Yeah. So first, it is important. I think there's so many layers to this, but I think the first off the bat, can power and vulnerability coexist? And the answer is yes, absolutely. I think they can coexist. Just because you're powerful doesn't mean that you are this superhuman. You're still gonna have trials in life. You're gonna feel happy, you're gonna feel sad, you're gonna feel mad, you're gonna have all the emotions. Just because I'm an empowered woman doesn't take my feelings away, right? You still go through that. Just as somebody that has courage doesn't mean that you're not afraid. Courage is the bravery to continue to push forward in spite of the fear. And so we can definitely be empowered and still have all the feelings and understand that we're human, but still say, I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm going to continue because this is who I truly am. This is how I walk through life. This is how I walk. You got to let your character speak louder than all the negative thoughts and energy that's coming towards you and the situations in itself.
Constant battle.
Yeah, it's a constant battle. And sometimes the battle is outward. It's the things that are coming at us, the negativity, the bullshit from the world, the situations, the drama, the politics. It's all those things of the world. But a lot of times the battle's actually in here. Like our self-talk is the most talk you hear, right?
Yeah.
And so we've got to learn to fight the battle in our mind, because that will help us know and be grounded in who we are and prepare us to fight the battles out here.
Okay.
Yeah. But a lot of times we're not, especially women, we're not taught that growing up. It's this is who you are. This is what we say. You're not, I wasn't anyway, taught to have a voice and to trust myself. That's a journey I learned into my 20s and older. And it's unfortunate because we're doing our daughters a disservice by not teaching them in their young years. That's who we form who we are in the adolescent years. This is psychology. And so if we start speaking into our daughters and telling them, grounding them in truth, can you imagine how much stronger they would be as women? Like, it's just incredible, right?
Yeah.
So there's a sense of loss because you feel like, man, I needed that. But like I said, we don't define ourselves by that anymore. You're a new woman. You are the woman who can design the life that you want. You can be this person. So we need to start listening to that. And the mind is a muscle, just like any other muscle in your body, and you've got to exercise it. So it's not like it'll just happen overnight, but little by little, it's practicing. And it's choosing as well. Just because you're an empowered woman doesn't mean you're going to have those negative thoughts that come in. But you've got to take captive that thought and throw it away and say, nope, that is not who I am. It's a thought. That's not who I am.
How can we support other women in their empowerment journeys without like falling into this idea that is put into us on competition and comparison? Like
The
constantly,
catty
right?
women. We're so catty. First of all, we need to understand that comparison kills.
Okay.
Comparison robs us of joy. So don't fall into traps of comparison or of competition. Competition and jealousy are a weak woman's game. Write that down.
Fire. Fire.
Write that down. That is a weak woman's game. That is somebody that is intimidated by somebody else. When you come into the fullness and understanding of who you are, it doesn't matter. And we shine better together. So I can love myself and know who I am and be grounded in that and give to you and empower you and lift you up and fix those crowns. Queens, see other queens.
We're just over here.
Like, just put that crown on, baby. Queens see other queens for who they are, and they are not intimidated by that because I know what I bring to the table. I know my kingdom. I know where I reign, and I know where I stand. And seeing and acknowledging you does not make me any less, baby. We're better together.
This is why I love you so much. I really think that like this is I mean, it's incredible to hear you really talk about it this way, but this is absolutely the energy with which you live your life. And I think for me, why you are one of my favorite bosses that I've ever had. And I told Jordan, I told her that you let me learn and grow, and I could tell that you weren't ever threatened by me. So it let me be the best version of myself.
I love that. We are all individuals and we all have something to bring to the table. As an owner, I wanted to hire people that were smarter than me because I can be empowered and I can be a boss babe, but I don't know everything and I'm not good at everything and I don't want to be good at everything.
You are my dream
The goal is not to run it all myself, you know, and you come in and I allow you space. I allow you to be you. I allow you to grow and mature, and my job is not to stifle you. A good boss and leader raises others up to release them to their full potential.
Yes. It's amazing. Okay, so before we move on, unfortunately it's time to wrap things up, but for our listeners,
Yes.
what is one tangible action that any listener could take this week to step into her own power?
Oh, that is so
Or
good.
their own power.
Their own power.
Yeah.
Yes, their own power. One thing that I would challenge our listeners to do, and I'm looking at you, I want you to take some time out of your day this week. Intentional time, set it aside. You're going to make a date with yourself, and you can be at home. You can take yourself out for coffee. You can go on a walk. There's anything that you enjoy doing, but a time that allows you to think. Let's do a check-in with ourselves. And I want you to ask, am I living my truest, authentic life? Am I happy where I'm at? This situation, this job, this relationship, the city I live in? Ask yourself these questions. And ask yourself, if I died tomorrow, would I be satisfied with the life that I have lived up till now? If the answer to any one of those is no, baby, you got some work to do.
We're going to have a little radiance round.
Radiance?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know you're already radiating so much joy and love. What ignites you or is lighting you up right now?
Oh, man. You know, I've just come off a pretty rough season. And so right now I'm in a season of rest. I took some time away from social media. I intentionally slowed down. And so right now what's really feeding me is just pouring into myself. I feel the need to refill my cup.
Yes.
Because if we are empty, we cannot give out to others. And so right now, that is what's igniting me. So some good books,
Yes.
some killer music, just right now, it's a season of nourishing myself. And
it.
that's where I'm at. Like naps and hot bubble baths.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. And who is a woman who has inspired you?
Oh gosh, there are so many.
I know, it's hard to pick.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
All
She's
right.
so amazing.
Yes.
Women that are fierce and don't back down.
And then how can our listeners find you? How can they support you? Or how can they stay connected?
Yes, absolutely. So social media is probably the easiest way to find me. Instagram is LG_creative with a K. Looking Glass Creative. That is my little handle on social media. There's a contact form. You can contact me there if you'd like some more information, but give us a like and a follow and share with your friends.
Absolutely. We definitely will. I cannot thank you enough for everything it goes beyond this moment, but thank you for joining us. Thank you for being my first guest. Thank you for everything you bring to the world. I mean, it's such a gift that you have allowed yourself to be the brightest version of yourself so that other women can be too. So thank you.
Well, thank you. That means so much to me. I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and I'll be tuning in more. I'll be watching you.
We're
so proud of
going
you.
to hang out. We're going to talk some more astrology. And thank you to all of our listeners for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed this topic. We are going to be blowing Andrea up on social media. But also please subscribe to us. We're going to have more guests. We've got more content for you. So like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.